All right, we're on air. Hey, how you doing, Jan?
I'm doing fine, Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing good. Welcome to Jan and Jeff, everyone. I am
Hello out there,
hello out there in Hangout Land,
Hangout Land and Cream Puff Land and La La Land, and
and we come from La La Land, so
we do, we do. And now, so I've started calling this Cream Puff Land.
this is called Cream Puff. I come from La La Land, and mine is gonna be Cheese Land
Cheese Land.
because where I
Yeah,
live.
I was wondering because that's why there's flirting, flings, and foie gras. So as long as you talked about cheese, I think it was Charles de Gaulle that mentioned something about running a country or ruling a country that has over 300 kinds of cheeses. I might have even mentioned this before, but I started wondering because I was in Carrefour the other day, one of the main shopping stores, and the amount, the selection of foie gras, the brands and the whole duck and pieces of duck and duck mixed with goose, and I mean it's incredible. It's there's got to be, I don't know, how we should actually count how many types of foie gras they have
You should go next time we count, and we can
and
see how
count
much.
them. Yeah, but now what I did want to ask you before I explain my funny little story is just because everybody keeps asking me here, all my clients, if we have just the livers. And I was telling you last week about a client that was, gave me her recipe and everything. But I was wondering, does your wife cook it like that? Because they say a poêle. They keep asking for livers to a poêle, which means to kind of just grill on, both sides, and
Uh-huh.
they salt and pepper. And does your wife do that?
No, she doesn't. She doesn't really. She comes from an area. She comes from Burgundy, so no, we don't. And I think foie gras is more south of France.
Okay, yeah, because everybody down here is looking for. I have a customer. I have to tell him that we're closed, but we're closed till 2. On est fermé jusqu'à 14 heures là. Wait, sorry about that, everybody.
Well,
This is live. This is for real life. It's not we're closed. Don't you hate that? I hate it when I show up someplace ready to do something and they say we're closed for 2 hours. Anyway, back to the foie gras.
only in France. Only in France.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I went to do something the other day that I only go once a year, and they were actually closed exceptionally for that day. I'm like, how do I pick the one day out of the year that I need to go here and they're closed? Doesn't that happen to you?
I think now I realize that things are closed. Like I realize now, like I want to do Christmas shopping.
Yeah,
I know things are actually going to be closed on Monday because
yeah.
they're open on
Sundays.
Saturday, and
Yeah,
even some are open on Sunday. Though there's not every place. There are some places that are open on Sunday, but I always realize if I want to go shopping, I need to wait until Tuesday sometimes, and
yeah.
then not during lunch. I realize that now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My husband doesn't realize it as much because he doesn't shop.
He doesn't
I'm
shop.
the one doing a lot of the shopping or administrative things. Administrative buildings are closed, and so anyway. But I do have a really kind of funny story about the French are so well known for well, and I think that it's really true that the French men are quite they're a lot more romantic and second well, affairs are quite common here between men and women. Married men have affairs, even women have affairs, and it's really quite common. In fact, they call them 5 to 7, 5 à 7. Because
Yes, I know.
yeah, they're actually called a 5 à 7. So I've actually, in my years, I haven't, had a lot of flings, but I remember meeting a guy in the metro station in Paris, and nothing went between us. And he had a girlfriend, but we lied on the benches and looked at the stars in Paris, and it was always this.
Yeah.
He thought it was so great, but he had a girlfriend, so I wasn't very interested. But anyway, funny story. I have this client here, or a customer, that I can tell he really likes me. He's a bit older than I am, but he comes in and he buys 5 things, and he's here for an hour, kind of walking by the cash register and smiling at me, and he always wants to talk. And so anyway, he was here recently, and I went up and said hello. He kind of came in limping, and he said, well, I have to have my knees operated on, and he's really scared about the operation. And anyway, we talked, and he said, I miss you. And I'm like, how do you miss me? There's nothing between us. But I was so surprised. I said, it just kind of blurted out. I said, oh, I was thinking about you too.
Yeah, right.
It just came out. But I had thought of him. You know why? Because, and I told him this, I said, because my husband and I kind of held up my hand with my ring on it. I said, my husband and I were watching the movie Gran Torino with Clint Eastwood, and I realized you remind me of Clint Eastwood. He really looks like Clint Eastwood.
Ah.
So now I've got this older guy that's, flirting with me that looks like Clint Eastwood. And somebody in the store heard, and then my boss heard, and then everybody's saying, "Oh, he does. He looks like Clint Eastwood, and this and that." So anyway, he is now leaving. I'm at the at the cash register, and I said, kind of feeling bad. I said, "So when you have your knees operated on, do you have somebody that can help you?" Thinking that, he's interested in me because because he's alone. And he looks at me and he says, "Oh, well, my wife will help me. I'm married." Right. So he's flirting with me, and it's for a fling, which is quite typical here. But you know what? You know what he did?
What?
He came in yesterday with his wife. So I tell my husband this, and he said, maybe he wants a menage a trois. I'm like, oh my God, it's so French. It's so French. Don't you think?
Jan, you can do a menage à quatre.
Oh, that's what my boss said. Now I've got my husband into this. Oh, how funny. I can't believe it. But anyway, what I thought was just a really simple flirt. Now we're talking menage a trois, menage a quatre. It's gone far beyond a fling. But I think that's pretty typical flirts and flinging here in France. It's quite common. Does your wife ever tell you about anybody that flirts with her in the office?
No, not really. She doesn't. No, we don't. We don't go there.
You don't go there, yeah. Well, we don't really either. But I do notice that I think Frenchmen they tend to like to flirt more. And, it's really kind of nice. I said to my dad at one point years ago, I said, in France, women can really be women because men expect them to be women, I mean, I still get men that hold the door open and they just like women. And I think that they like flirting and so anyway, but that's my funny little story. I've got somebody interested in me that looks like Clint Eastwood. And we won't go there. We won't go
if anybody on social media either looks like Clint Eastwood, Johnny Depp, Matt Damon, or George Clooney.
Yeah. I actually do have a friend that looks so much like George Clooney. And what's really funny is he is in a relationship with another guy. He's homosexual. But he looks so much like George Clooney. And actually, they bought the place, the bed and breakfast.
Right, the bed and breakfast.
We were running. And I invited the village and introduced the new people. And these women kept coming up to me. I could tell everybody was looking at, I call him George, at Rob, because he's really size. He's about the size of George Clooney. He really looks like George Clooney. Very handsome man. And all these women were saying, oh, and what's his name? Well, his name is Rob, and he's with Marco.
Uh-oh.
So anyway, we don't want to go there either.
We don't want to go there either. Okay, well, I think that's good.
They live with another couple, but a couple that's women.
Couple of women. Well, that's good. Why not?
Yeah, they're nice people. I really like
nice people.
Yeah.
All right.
So we'll have to talk more about Christmas and what we eat here, because I've got all these funny things. Oh, in fact, listen to this. My boss just told me that we got poulettes. Do you know what a poulette is?
The little small chickens?
Well, it's a chicken that hasn't had a rooster.
A virgin.
That's what I said. Why don't you just call it a virgin? And he said, oh, no, he hasn't had a rooster yet.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, yeah, so they sell poulettes. They sell virgin chickens for Christmas.
That'll be the title of this episode, Virgin Chickens.
Yeah, virgin chickens.
Ménage a cat, a virgin chickens.
Yeah. Well, listen, Jeff, it was always fun chatting with you, and we've got a lot more to talk about before Christmas.
We will.
Elections and whatnot.
The election, yeah, we'll try to talk about the election next week. All right, Jan.
Ciao, ciao. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Stop.